Hi everyone, it's Lisa of EnergieGal Holistic Wellness. Welcome to day 7 of our year-long trek through 2023 and our integration of body, mind, spirit, body, soul, spirit, our integration of our physical body, mental body, emotional body, becoming aware of our psychic energetics and understanding that we are more than just a body that needs macros, but that we are also emotions and memories, and that these emotions and memories, if not processed, they directly affect our physical form, our physical body, and we become out of peace, out of balance, diseased. And so on our trek, I keep playing with this rubber band, and so it's got to put it down. On our trek today, we're going to be talking about how my journey began. You know, so many people see me now as this positive, uplifting, encouraging person, and I am, but I wasn't always that way. Here's the deal. Straight skinny, baby. I was a victim. I'm just laying it right out there. That's the God's honest truth. I played the victim card a lot. Now, there would be some people who'd say, well, you had every right. You had a very difficult childhood. You didn't have a mom and dad who was around. You met your mom just a few times. You're beat up pretty bad by a few people. You had some abuse going on in this other area, all this other stuff going on. You had every right. Well, and to those people, what I would say is, it is understandable that as a child, I was confused and felt very alone, unseen, unheard, and unprotected. Absolutely. But what happened is, as an adult, I remained in that unseen, unheard, unprotected way of interfacing with the world, and that became disempowering. I walked around as if I was the victim of everything. And it was what I was manifesting in my life. I was the victim to all sorts of stuff that was going on. And I really sucked the marrow out of that bone, for sure. Very disempowered, very frustrated, always saw the glass as half empty. And I became exhausted. To say exactly when, how, why it all came to be, I don't know. I'm going to tell you, it was just God's grace. I remember waking up on a January 1st of year what, I don't remember, 20 years ago. And I remember thinking, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this life anymore. I came to a crossroads, like there was a fork in the road. You can't go back. You can't go forward only. You got to pick either this way. You got to pick this way. You got to decide which way you're going to go. There is a fork in the road. And by God's grace, I chose this particular fork in the road that I will call gratitude. It changed everything. The other fork in the road, I'll be honest with you, it was the same old victimhood. I think it would have led further down to disintegration, lack of being able to self-regulate, more and more confusion, psychosis, anorexia, bulimia, self-loathing, suicidal ideation, frustration, being alone, being cut off from myself, being cut off from others, being cut off from God, of my own making. I think I would have interpreted the world in such a different way because I would have been seeing through my pain all the time. By God's grace, I ended up taking the other route, which I call gratitude. I opened up a notebook and I opened up to a fresh page and I wrote January 1st. This is one thing I'm thankful for. I wrote it down and then I spoke it. January 2nd, I got up And I wrote, it's January 2nd. These are 2 things for which I'm grateful. And I wrote down 2 things. And I went back and I read January 1st, and then I reread January 2nd. January 3rd, I woke up. You know how this goes, right? I wrote down, these are 3 things I'm thankful for. And then I reread the other 2 days. January 4th, 4 things. January 5th, 5 things. By the time I got to January 31st, it took a long time because I wrote 31 things that I was grateful for. And then I would go back and reread days 1 through 30. It took me a long time to get through each of those journaling days towards the end. February 1st, I started all over again, but I went with one thing. February 2nd, 2 things, went through the whole thing again, but I would read all the way back from January 1st. I did this through till on about June, because I remember it being my birthday in May, and then I felt different. I felt like I saw the world differently. I commiserated with the world differently. I was in relationship with myself, with my husband, with my children, with others, with God differently. I mean, not just like, it was gray and now it's kind of an eggshell color. No. I mean, like it was mucky, brown, diarrhea-ish kind of color, and it went to the most beautiful, bright white. Radically different. I feel like, and we know that it's possible to recalibrate. And I feel like I recalibrated my brain, that in this neoplastic that our brain is, I restoried, I re-narrated, I reconnected and unplugged from different parts and created a brand new narrative, one born of gratitude. It didn't mean the things didn't happen. It just meant that I wasn't going to be a victim of them anymore. And it began with being grateful. Sometimes I would be like, I'm grateful for my red nail polish. I'm grateful for my favorite earrings. Thank you, God, for this tree out front. I mean, I became grateful for every little thing. Yeah, it was radical. It was a radical change, a radical shift. With that radical shift also came a radical shift in the way I was able to see other people and see myself and see God actually too. I started being able to see myself as someone who is, well, let me start with this. I began to see other people as hurting. I began to see other people as doing the best that they knew how. I began to see other people as wounded. I began to see other people as living out of their victimhood and lack of empowerment because of the things that had been done to them and the narrative that they had not yet recalibrated and restored. And in so doing, I was able to hold a compassionate space for these people. And from there, I was able to see that the things that happened to me, number 1, were conquerable. Number 2, weren't the worst things in the world. That there were worse things that happened. That other people had experienced things even more radically challenging than mine. And not that made mine any less challenging to me at the moment. But as I worked through those, I was able to say, and I survived. And I'm different because of what I went through. And if I had to go through it, at least I'm stronger. It'd have been nice to get stronger a different way. That's not the way it happened. And so it is. And I began began to see and hold a different space for myself. Gone was the self-loathing and the anorexia, the bulimia, the dissociation with my own body. I came down from the rooftop. I always feel like I lived outside of my body, down into my mind where it was safe for quite a while. But I began to find myself coming further and further down and lodging down into my heart space and allowing myself and my essence to come all the way down into my body because it was safe now. I began to understand that I could have a relationship now with that little girl who was so afraid, who had tucked her head under the covers in her bedroom and said, I'm never coming back out again because that world is a shit show and oh, hell no. And I began to coax her out gently in her own time until she was able to come out and be reintegrated with the whole. And it all began with gratitude. God's grace to say, you know what? You can go this way or you can go this way. I'll love you either way. That's the thing I found out about God. God's like, listen, either way, you're a good girl and I love you. I made you good. You were good from the beginning. You're still good. I absolutely adore you. You've been through some difficult things in a very difficult place called Earth. But I've never stopped loving you. I've never forsaken you. I know it feels like I left you, but I didn't. And now go share your story. And be a way shower and help others heal on their journey as well. So, welcome to a little bit more personal on my end of things. So many people ask me, where did it begin with you? Did you just, come out of your mom's vagina already knowing all this stuff? No, it's been a journey for me and the journey continues. So it's been so good for me to share this with you because I want you to know that I'm nobody's guru. I'm on the journey right here with you, right next to you, baby, cheering you on. And if I can be of assistance to you on a one-on-one basis, I would love to be, whether it's in office or virtually. Please let me know. Get in touch with me. In the meantime, if you like the content, let me know by subscribing, growing the channel by liking, commenting, and sharing. We're in this together. 2023 is going to be one of the best years ever. And I sure am thankful for that. Take care, everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow.